Welcome to Range World, the podcast where life, development, leadership, growth, intentionality, and experience come into balance right before your very ears. And now, here's your tour guide into Range World, the president of Get Life in Balance, Rain Kansman.
All right, welcome back to Rain's World. And now for this episode, I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Eric Gruener. And Eric is the president at Hankscraft, AJS. Did I say that correctly?
Absolutely.
All right. Hankscraft, AJS is the largest domestic manufacturer for custom beer tap handles in the United States, selling both large brand and craft brewers throughout the world. And that's just taken off.
Right.
That's just taken off. Prior to joining AJS, Eric spent 25 years with Cisco Food Services, and that's where he and I met. He started as a sales rep and held positions as a district sales manager, regional sales manager, director of sales, and VP of sales and marketing. Eric was a constant part of the leadership and sales training for 24 of the 25 years with Cisco. Yeah, and I just loved having you as part of that. Eric is a graduate from the Purdue University. He lives in Wisconsin with his wife of 25 years. Congratulations. And two amazing college-age daughters. He has been active in coaching youth sports, leadership mentoring, and volunteer work with Feeding America and the American Diabetes Association. Thank you for that. This is Eric Gruener.
Thank you, Rain.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So today you want to talk about inspirational leadership. So please define what you mean by that.
Yeah. So I think that, leadership, it takes a lot, right? So there's a lot of characteristics or a lot of things that go into leadership and being a good leader. You have to lead with integrity. You have strategic planning, vision, communications, empathy, self-awareness, just on and on and on, right? There's so many things that play into that. But, the thing I wanted to really zero in on was, inspiring people to be the best that they can be, right? And I think that when you ask, how do you define inspirational leadership, the first thing I think of is you kind of have to take an approach to differentiate between being motivated and being inspired. Okay,
help me with that.
So I think that, and they're both needed, right? Yep. So motivation, you hear about, what motivates you? How could I motivate you? And leaders often go to that. And that's not a bad thing to go to, but, some are motivated by money, motivated by trips, motivated by recognition, motivated by whatever that might be. And that's good, but you get caught sometimes in what I would call seminar mentality.
Okay.
Where when you come off of a good seminar and you're all jacked up,
yeah,
right? You get fun and it's loud and you're fired up and all that. And it may or may not last. Yeah. And it does for a little while. And you're motivated by those things because you're pumped up and things are good and you're feeling what it is that you want to do. And I think that that's where that point from motivation to being inspired starts to separate.
Right.
And I think that, when you're around inspirational leaders find a way to dig a little deeper than just what motivates you. They find a way to help you realize your full potential by helping you get to the point where you are achieving things that you did not think were possible for yourself.
Yeah.
And when you're inspired, something's lit inside of you. So then you're going to make the changes. When you're motivated by those things all the time. And you're looking for that constant motivation or whatever motivates you. And you can you can find those things.
Right.
But when that fire is lit, when somebody inspires you, then you're going to make the changes. Because it's different. It's different when you have to change those daily disciplines, right? Change those things that you're going to do. Change your behaviors. When you're going to dig deep and somebody's there to help awaken what it is that you're truly capable of and the things that you didn't think that you were capable of, that's where I think that you start to cross into inspiration versus just that motivation. And that's, difficult at times to do, but you got to dig a little bit deeper, right? You got to find what that true meaning of what people's, personal and professional aspirations are, right? And if you can inspire that change, then you got to do the hard things, right? You got to have bold conversations in order to help that person achieve what it is that they're trying to. And I've had plenty of people that have helped me along the way. And sometimes you need that shot right between the eyes. And, the best inspirational leaders that I've been around are the ones that lit that fire. I knew what it was that I wanted. I knew that path, and then help me get on that path, right? And then hold you accountable to it, having those bold conversations.
Yeah. So a lot of really cool stuff came up for me while you were talking about that. And I can tell you this, I was fortunate enough to work alongside Eric for a lot of years. And as you can tell, just by his comment, he's passionate. So it doesn't take much, but it also, with people that are very passionate that way, they can get down quickly. And right. And so somebody that's there with you. And what I'm understanding you saying is that, okay, motivation lasts for this, but being an inspirational leader helps motivate people long term. It's not just that quick piece, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I had, I remember, and going back to training early on in my training career with Cisco Corporation, we had a presenter that was all pomp and circumstance. I mean, he was, yeah, give me this, give me that. You can do this, and everybody came out of it, gave him high ratings for a trainer. And, because they were excited. And then I sat down with them the next day. Okay, what did you learn from the seminar yesterday? Right. And yeah, okay, we can get that fluff, and it's great to get. So I guess I'm supporting everything you just said, my friend.
And it feels good. And again, those things are great, and it's great to rally up. But then what?
Yeah.
What tangible things are you going to take with you that you're going to make the changes? And what's that roadmap going to look like? And that's, again, when you're fired up and you're excited, that's one thing. But when someone can reach in and help you really believe you're capable of so much more.
Yep.
And push you there, that's when it really makes a difference. And I think that's, to me, what an inspirational leader does.
Yeah. And I had quite a few of those too. So what are some of the outcomes and benefits of inspirational leadership?
Yeah. Results, number one, right?
Yep.
So, and sustained results. And that's what we were talking about when you're inspired to really get behind something, when you see that vision and you see what that end goal is going to look like, and you have that roadmap and you're focused toward that, the results are going to be there because you're committed, right? The biggest thing is that commitment. Once you've been inspired to make the changes and you're fully committed to it, now you're on your way. So I think that you're going to get more sustained results when you believe in the why, when you have purpose, when things are there that are laid out in front of you, you know what it is that you're trying to achieve, not just the pomp and circumstances you were talking, but you know what that purpose is in the big picture of what you're doing, and you're fighting toward that. You're going to have those sustained results. Mm-hmm. That's one. The other big thing is, I believe in any type of leadership role that you're in, one of your primary responsibilities is to build more leaders, right? You're not there to sit on top and do what I say type of a thing. It's more, you have a responsibility as a leader to inspire the future leaders, right? Build more leaders. Things should run whether you're there or not, right? Be able to move into different things or do different things, and you should always be training your own replacement. You lead without fear. And when you have that type of thing, people are going to, again, be more engaged in the purpose of what's happening. And then when you build more leaders, you're building better results, and then they're building more leaders. And then you have a culture of achievement where everybody is knowing that everybody else is looking out for them and their best interests, which, again, that goes into the biggest piece of being an inspirational leader is you have to have that trust, right? That if you don't have the trust, none of this is going to work. It is going to be seminar mentality because you're not going to be able to bridge that.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, the person following you on the recording today actually is going to speak about trust, and I love that. Old friend of ours, George Getsinas. Yep. And then the thing that I got from this, on the other side of that, and exactly what you're talking about with commitment, I grew up in kitchens, and a lot of those kitchens were dictator, fear-driven, you do it this way or else type stuff. And again, I might have respected that chef for their abilities in the past, but I complied, but you did not get anything out of me like you would if I was committed to the chef that I worked for. And we need that to make the numbers today. We do need that because it is about results.
It is. Absolutely. You can't, all of this is all well and good, but if it's not producing anything, what good are you? You made everybody feel good, but you didn't get anywhere. But again, if they're buying into the vision of what it is that you can create and they're seeing that, you're going to do it. And I'm glad that you're doing that with the trust, because none of this works if you don't have that.
Yeah, that's a huge piece. It's always a huge piece. So I have another question. What process can a new leader use to accomplish this? How do you get there, Eric? Because I watched it with you, and it almost seemed like when you were in a leadership role, you believed in that and you were bred that way. But I know that's not the only way. So how does a new leader get there? Yeah,
and ironically, you already started that conversation with me. It's trust. Yeah. That's it. The trust is paramount, and you have to earn that. And again, you earn that by acting with integrity. You earn that by not just the cliche of doing what you say you're going to do, but living intentionally, living that out. If I say that I'm there for you and I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to be present, we're going to have a conversation. That means when you come into my office, I shut my computer screen off and I look right at you and we have a conversation. I'm yours. We're going to talk about this. So when you're inspiring people to do that and to get better and to reach their maximum potential, you have to know what that even means to them. Mm-hmm. And you can't just think that it's the same thing for everybody. So when you're having that conversation, you're building that trust, you're acting with integrity. They're watching. Everybody's watching what it is that you're doing. And if you say one thing, but your actions dictate something else, boy, you are not going to get there. No. So any new leader that gets into that role, oftentimes oftentimes new leaders make, not always, but often one of two mistakes. They either come out to be their best friend, so they're friend. Now, when you have to discipline them, hey, what are you talking about, buddy? You were just doing this with me last week. Right. Now you got a problem. Or you come in with the hammer and you're going to do it my way. You're going to do it my way, and you're driving them out because you're trying to prove that I've got this leadership role of power.
Yeah.
If you just build the trust, if you have the conversations, and if people understand that your actions are, right in line with what it is that you are saying, you're going to start to get those healthy results. And you have to have a certain tolerance for risk when you're doing that stuff and you're putting it out there. And you got to be humble. Yeah. If you're making the mistakes, hey, this didn't work. Here's why. Here's what it is. Own those things. Move on. Explain what changes you're going to make to help, whether it's the organization or whatever it is that you're working with. It's going to make a huge, huge difference or how they view whether or not you're telling them the truth down the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So you might not believe this, but you know me well enough that when I was first a leader, that buddy guy, right? Because I'd grown up in the kitchens and I knew I didn't want to be that. So I was way over on the other side. And I learned real early about, when I had to terminate somebody, and it didn't go well because I just set them up for failure. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Launching those marshmallows and sugar coat and everything.
That's the thing with the new leaders. You have to understand that if you're going to take a leadership role, you have to constantly be learning. It's funny you say, in the past and making those mistakes, oftentimes in the past, I used to say, no matter what room, if I get into a room, my first goal is to find out who in that room is the best. And then I want to beat that person. I want to be the best. To get in that room and
I love it.
Somebody's got to be the best. It may as well be me.
Yeah.
And for many years, it was kind of my philosophy. That was how I was motivating myself, right? That's how I was driven. Yeah. And then the further you get down that leadership journey, the more that you realize, and I use this with my daughters, right? And I use this a lot with colleagues and other people, but I use this with my daughters all the time. And I tell them that it doesn't matter what room you're in.
Right.
Classroom, locker room, boardroom, doesn't matter. If you're in there, yes, somebody in there is the best, somebody in there is the smartest.
Mhm.
If you really think that it's you, then you're in the wrong room.
I love it.
Right? Now it's time to go stretch yourself to be better than you were yesterday. Because if you believe that you were already at the top, now it's time to go get better.
I love
And I
it.
think that from a leadership standpoint, when we're trying to ultimately make ourselves better so that we're there to be better for the people that are around us,
Mhm.
that's when you're going to, I think that when you can really inspire change.
Wow. So this has been inspirational, my friend. There's some good stuff here. I really appreciate your being part of this series.
Absolutely. It was great. Enjoy it.
Yeah. And your focus about turning off the screen to be there for people. A common friend of yours and I's, again, Mr. Dan Nagelkirk, used that in his presentation
Yeah.
too, because it impacted him so much. I'm glad you didn't turn off your screen for me, but you were able to share this time, brother.
Nope. It turned everything else off. Phones, computers, everything else.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. So nice to see you again. Appreciate you doing this.
No, thank you, Rain. Hey, appreciate all the years of friendship, and I appreciate you doing these series for all of us current leaders and those future leaders that hopefully are watching and learning something as well.
All right, bud. Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been another leadership lesson from Rain's World. If this kind of learning whets your appetite, leaving you wanting for another helping of this kind of content, visit me at getlifeandbalance.com.